Imagine living in a world where a single piece of clothing could shape beauty standards, control social status, spark political protests, and even influence how women moved, breathed, and lived their daily lives. For thousands of years, the bra in its earlier forms quietly evolved alongside human civilization, reflecting changing ideas about power, fashion, freedom, and identity. What seems like an ordinary garment today, actually, carries one of the most fascinating and controversial histories. In the world of fashion, the story of the bra did not begin inside glamorous fashion houses or modern shopping malls. It began thousands of years ago in ancient civilizations, where clothing was shaped not only by beauty but also by survival, status, comfort, and culture. Long before the modern bra existed, women across different societies searched for ways to support and cover the body while adapting to the expectations of their time. In ancient Egypt, women often wore lightweight linen garments. Because of the extreme heat of the desert climate, some noble women wrapped soft cloth bands around the chest for support and modesty, while many working-class women wore loose garments with little structure. At the same time, on the island of Crete during the Minoan civilization, wall paintings and statues revealed women wearing fitted garments that lifted and exposed the bust in ways that looked surprisingly modern. These early designs were not created for comfort alone. They symbolized power, fertility, and social identity. In ancient Greece, women used chest bands, known as the apodesmos or strophion. These bands were wrapped tightly around the body and tied behind the back. Some women used them for physical activity while others wore them daily. Beneath long flowing robes, the Romans later adapted similar garments called mamillar, which were often used to flatten or support the chest. Depending on beauty ideals of the period, these early forms of breast support were simple compared to modern bras, but they represented humanity's first attempts to shape the body according to social expectations. Civilizations expanded. The relationship between women's clothing and cultural standards became more complicated, and this would eventually lead the world toward one of the most debated garments in fashion history. As Europe entered the medieval period, clothing became heavier, more layered, and deeply connected to religion and social hierarchy. Women's garments were expected to reflect modesty, and the shape of the body was carefully controlled through layers of fabric, rather than separate undergarments. During this era, the concept of a structured bra still did not exist, but the foundation for future undergarments slowly emerged through tightly fitted dresses and supportive bodices. Rich women wore linen chemises beneath heavy gowns, and tailors began experimenting with lacing techniques that could tighten the upper body and create a more controlled silhouette. Some archaeological discoveries from Austria later revealed linen garments from the 15th century that looked remarkably similar to modern bras. These garments included separated cups and shoulder straps, suggesting that women were already experimenting with advanced support systems centuries earlier than many historians once believed. However, most women of the medieval world still relied on layered clothing instead of dedicated undergarments. At the same time, society increasingly connected female appearance to morality, and clothing became a powerful tool of control. Women were expected to appear graceful, respectable, and restrained. The pressure to achieve an ideal body shape intensified among the upper classes, and fashion slowly evolved into a symbol of discipline and status. This growing obsession with shaping the female form prepared the stage for one of the most influential and controversial garments in history. The corset was about to dominate Europe, and its impact on women's lives would echo for centuries. By the 16th century, the corset emerged as the defining garment of female fashion across Europe. Unlike the soft cloth bands of ancient civilizations, the corset was rigid, structured, and often painfully restrictive. It was designed to mold the torso into the fashionable silhouette of the era, flattening or lifting the bust while dramatically narrowing the waist. Corsets were made using layers of fabric reinforced with whalebone, wood, or metal strips. Wealthy women wore elaborately decorated corsets beneath luxurious gowns, while even middle-class women adopted simplified versions to follow social expectations. In royal courts, such as those of France and England, the ideal female body became increasingly artificial, and women endured discomfort to achieve it. Corsets were often tightened with extreme force, making breathing difficult and restricting movement. Many girls began wearing them at a young age because society believed discipline and elegance should be physically trained into the body. Doctors occasionally warned about health problems including fainting, deformed ribs, and weakened muscles. But fashion usually overpowered medical concerns. At the same time, the corset represented more than beauty. It symbolized class, respectability, and femininity. A woman without proper shaping. Garments could be judged as careless or immoral. Yet beneath the glamour and luxury, many women privately struggled with pain and discomfort. The corset became both a fashionable masterpiece and a physical prison. Over time, artists, writers, and early reformers began criticizing these extreme standards. They questioned why women were expected to sacrifice comfort and health for appearance, and these debates would slowly inspire a revolution in women's undergarments. The 18th and 19th centuries transformed the corset from a royal fashion statement into a global industry. As industrialization spread across Europe and America, mass production made corsets more affordable than ever before. Factory-made corsets reached women from many social classes, and advertisements promised elegance, beauty, and social acceptance. Magazines displayed idealized silhouettes with impossibly tiny waists, encouraging women to tighten their corsets further. Some women practiced what became known as tight lacing, a dangerous method of pulling the corset so tightly that the waist appeared dramatically. Reduced photographs and illustrations from the Victorian era showed women standing with rigid posture and exaggerated body shapes that symbolized refinement and femininity. In reality, many women suffered physically from prolonged corset use. Some experienced breathing problems, digestive issues, and chronic discomfort. Despite these dangers, corsets remained deeply connected to identity and social pressure. A properly dressed woman was expected to wear one in public spaces. At the same time, the 19th century also witnessed the rise of women's rights movements, and many activists viewed restrictive clothing as a symbol of oppression. Reformers argued that women needed freedom of movement to participate fully in education, work, and public life. Some promoted alternative garments known as rational dress, which emphasized comfort and practicality over extreme shaping. Although these movements faced resistance, they planted the idea that women's clothing should serve women rather than control them. This cultural shift grew stronger as the world approached the 20th century, and eventually a new invention would appear that promised support without the harsh rigidity of the corset. The modern bra was finally approaching. In the early 20th century, the world experienced dramatic social change, and women's fashion evolved. Alongside it, the heavy Victorian silhouette began disappearing as designers embraced lighter fabrics and more natural body shapes. Women increasingly participated in sports, education, and professional work, making restrictive corsets less practical. Of the most famous moments in bra history occurred in 1913 when an American socialite named Mary Phelps Jacob created a simple undergarment using 2 silk handkerchiefs and ribbon. Frustrated by the bulky corset visible beneath her evening gown, she designed a softer alternative that separated the breasts more naturally. She later patented the invention, and although her design looked simple, it represented a turning point in fashion history. Other manufacturers soon developed similar garments, and the term brassiere became widely used. The new bras offered more flexibility and comfort than traditional corsets, appealing to women seeking greater freedom. At the same time, World War I accelerated this transformation. As women entered factories, hospitals, and offices to support the war effort, practical clothing became essential. Corsets required metal for production, and governments encouraged manufacturers to reduce their use, leading many women to adopt bras instead. By the 1920s, the modern woman known as the flapper embraced youthful fashion, styles with loose dresses and lighter undergarments. Many bras of this era were designed to flatten the chest rather than emphasize curves because the ideal silhouette favored a straight, boyish figure. The bra had finally emerged as a distinct garment, but its appearance and purpose would continue changing with every generation. During the 1930s and 1940s, the bra industry became increasingly sophisticated as companies experimented with sizing, support systems, and marketing techniques. Before this period, many bras were sold in limited sizes, making proper fit difficult for countless women. Then, manufacturers introduced cup sizing, systems using letters such as A, B, C, and D. This innovation transformed the bra from a generic garment into a more personalized product, designed for different body shapes. Elastic materials improved comfort while adjustable straps allowed greater flexibility. Advertising campaigns grew more aggressive, and magazines portrayed the ideal female figure as balanced, elegant, and carefully shaped. Hollywood also played a major role. Movie stars appeared on screens wearing glamorous costumes that highlighted the bust, and fashion trends spread rapidly among audiences worldwide. During World War II, women again entered industrial workplaces in massive numbers, and supportive practical bras became essential for physically demanding jobs. Some wartime advertisements even connected bras to patriotism, encouraging women to maintain femininity while contributing to national efforts. At the same time, the economic struggles of the Great Depression forced many families to repair or reuse garments, making durable underclothing especially valuable. By the late 1940s, the image of femininity shifted once again. Designers promoted more structured silhouettes with emphasized curves, and bras became symbols of glamour as well as support. The undergarment industry realized that bras could influence not only comfort, but also confidence, identity, and aspiration. This realization would shape fashion marketing for decades to come. The 1950s introduced an era of highly stylized femininity that forever changed public perception of bras. After the hardships of war, many societies promoted domestic stability, family life, and traditional gender roles. Fashion reflected these values by celebrating exaggerated curves and polished appearances. One of the most iconic inventions of this period was the bullet bra, a sharply pointed design that created a dramatic silhouette beneath sweaters and fitted dresses. Celebrities such as Marilyn Monroe and Jane Russell popularized these styles through films, photographs, and advertisements. The ideal female figure became glamorous, sensual, and carefully sculpted bras were no longer hidden necessities alone. They became powerful fashion tools associated with beauty and desirability. Television also expanded the influence of advertising into everyday homes, allowing lingerie companies to shape public expectations more effectively than ever. Before, many women viewed wearing the correct bra as essential to appearing modern, respectable, and attractive. However, the growing emphasis on appearance also increased pressure on women to conform to narrow beauty standards. At the same time, new synthetic fabrics such as nylon made bras lighter, cheaper, and easier to mass produce. This technological progress allowed the lingerie industry to expand. Globally, stores offered countless styles designed for different outfits and body types, yet beneath the glamour, questions about comfort and social expectations continued to grow. Some women appreciated the confidence bras provided, while others viewed them as another form of control over female appearance. These tensions would explode during the cultural revolutions of the 1960s and 1970s, when women across the world began challenging traditional ideas about beauty, fashion, and gender roles. The cultural upheavals of the 1960s and 1970s transformed the bra into a political symbol far beyond fashion. As civil rights movements, anti-war protests, and second-wave feminism spread across many countries, women increasingly questioned social expectations surrounding appearance and behavior. Many activists argued that women had long been pressured to shape their bodies for public approval rather than personal comfort. The bra became part of this debate, especially after protests against beauty pageants and restrictive beauty standards. One famous demonstration occurred during the 1968 Miss America protest in Atlantic City, where activists threw symbolic items including bras, girdles, and cosmetics into a protest bin. Although the popular myth of widespread bra burning was exaggerated by the media, the image became culturally powerful and deeply associated with feminist rebellion. Some women chose to stop wearing bras entirely as a statement of bodily freedom and resistance against social pressure. Others argued that feminism should support personal choice rather than reject specific garments. The debate revealed how emotionally and politically charged clothing had become. At the same time, the lingerie industry adapted quickly. Manufacturers introduced softer, natural-looking bras designed for comfort and movement rather than rigid shaping. Sports participation among women also increased dramatically, creating demand for more functional support garments. The conversation around bras expanded beyond fashion into discussions about identity, freedom, and empowerment. For the first time in history, millions of women publicly debated whether undergarments represented confidence, self-expression, oppression, or simple practicality. The bra was no longer just clothing. It had become a symbol through which society argued about the meaning of femininity itself. As the late 20th century progressed, the bra industry entered an age of innovation, globalization, and intense commercialization. Advances in textile technology allowed manufacturers to create lighter, stronger, and more flexible materials. Padding, underwires, and seamless designs became increasingly common, offering women a wider variety of choices than ever before. One of the most influential developments was the invention of the sports bra in the 1970s and its rapid rise during the 1980s as women participated more actively in athletics, jogging, and fitness culture. Traditional bras often failed to provide adequate support. The sports bra solved this problem and became an essential garment for millions of women worldwide. At the same time, fashion marketing grew increasingly sophisticated lingerie. Brands transformed bras into lifestyle products associated with luxury, confidence, and sexuality. Runway shows featuring glamorous models became major media events, and companies spent enormous amounts on advertising campaigns that shaped global beauty standards. Shopping malls displayed endless styles, ranging from practical, everyday bras to elaborate designer lingerie. The push-up bra became especially popular during the 1990s, promising enhanced cleavage and dramatic silhouettes. These products often reflected broader cultural trends that celebrated youth, sex appeal, and celebrity culture. However, critics argued that advertising frequently promoted unrealistic body expectations and excluded diverse body types. As conversations about self-image intensified, many women struggled between societal pressure and personal comfort. Still, the expanding range of bra styles also allowed greater individual expression. Some women prioritized practicality, while others viewed lingerie as an artistic or empowering form of fashion. The meaning of the bra continued evolving. With each new generation, the 21st century introduced a new chapter in the history of bras shaped by digital culture, body positivity, and changing attitudes toward gender and identity. Social media transformed the relationship between fashion brands and consumers. Women could now publicly share experiences about discomfort, sizing problems, and unrealistic advertising standards that had long been ignored. Many consumers criticized traditional lingerie companies for promoting narrow ideals centered on extremely thin models and limited body diversity. In response, new brands emerged focusing on inclusivity, comfort, and representation. Advertisements began featuring women of different body sizes, ages, and backgrounds. The bralette became increasingly popular because it prioritized softness and flexibility over rigid structure. Wire-free designs gained attention among women seeking comfort during long workdays or remote lifestyles. At the same time, the body positivity movement encouraged people to reject shame surrounding natural body shapes and embrace individuality. Some women chose not to wear bras regularly at all, especially as workplace dress codes became less formal in certain societies. The conversation surrounding bras expanded beyond women alone, non-binary and transgender. Individuals also influenced discussions about support garments, identity, and self-expression. Technology further changed the industry through online sizing tools, digital shopping, and customized designs tailored to individual measurements. Despite these changes, the bra remained a deeply personal garment shaped by emotion, culture, and experience. For some, it symbolized confidence and beauty. For others, it represented discomfort or unnecessary pressure. The diversity of opinions demonstrated how no single meaning could define the bra in the modern world. Beyond fashion and politics, the history of the bra is also closely connected to economics, labor, and global manufacturing. The lingerie industry became worth billions of dollars as production spread across factories in Asia, Europe, and Latin America. Many workers who produced bras spent long hours sewing delicate fabrics under demanding conditions, highlighting the hidden labor behind glamorous advertisements. Fashion accelerated production cycles, encouraging consumers to purchase more garments at lower prices. Some critics argued that this system created environmental waste and exploited low-wage labor. Others pointed out that bras are among the most technically complex everyday garments because they require precise engineering, sizing, and support structures. At the same time, scientists and health experts continued researching breast support and comfort. Although myths about bras causing severe illnesses circulated periodically, most scientific studies found little evidence supporting such claims. Instead, research focused on improving ergonomic design and reducing discomfort for different body types. Medical bras were also developed for women recovering from surgery or dealing with physical conditions requiring specialized support. These innovations revealed that bras could serve important practical and medical purposes beyond fashion alone. Meanwhile, the emotional relationship many women have with bras remained complicated. Some viewed finding a comfortable bra as empowering, while others experienced frustration because of inconsistent sizing standards and social expectations. The bra industry continuously adapted to consumer feedback while balancing profit, fashion, and practicality. This complex relationship between commerce, technology, and personal identity ensured that the evolution of the bra would never fully stop. Today, the bra exists in more forms than at any other time in human history. There are sports bras, nursing bras, strapless bras, minimizer bras, push-up bras, bralettes, seamless bras, and countless other variations designed for specific needs, lifestyles, and preferences. Modern consumers can choose garments focused on comfort, performance, fashion, medical support, or self-expression. Some companies use sustainable fabrics and ethical manufacturing practices to address growing environmental concerns. Others experiment with smart textiles and advanced materials that may eventually transform how garments function in everyday life. At the same time, cultural attitudes toward the body continue changing rapidly. In many societies, younger generations increasingly reject rigid beauty standards and prioritize authenticity over perfection. Public conversations about gender equality, body autonomy, and personal freedom remain deeply connected to clothing choices. The bra has survived every major social transformation because it continuously adapts to changing expectations. It has been viewed as a necessity, a luxury, a burden, a symbol of beauty, a political statement, and an engineering achievement all at once. Few garments in history have carried such emotional, cultural, and social significance. The story of the bra is ultimately not just about fabric or fashion. It is about humanity's changing understanding of the body, identity, and freedom. Each generation reshaped the garment according to its own fears, desires, and ideals, and in doing so, left behind a record of social history hidden inside everyday clothing. When people look at a modern bra hanging quietly inside a store, it is easy to forget the thousands of years of history stitched into its design, from the linen chest bands of ancient civilizations to the restrictive corsets of royal courts. From the revolutionary inventions of the early 20th century to the political protests of feminism, the bra has traveled through nearly every major transformation of human society. It has reflected changing ideas about beauty, power, modesty, sexuality, health, and independence. More importantly, it has revealed how deeply clothing can influence identity and daily life. For centuries, women were expected to shape their bodies according to social rules often created without their comfort in mind, yet women also transformed these garments into tools of confidence, self-expression, and practicality. The history of the bra is therefore not a simple story of oppression or liberation. It is a complex journey filled with contradiction, innovation, struggle, and adaptation.